Hey everybody, what's up? It's Tipping the Scales. I'm your girl, LaShayla Shay Dawson, feeling good over here.
Yes, I love that you're feeling good in the hood. It's Timmy.
Wait, where? I was about to say, where are you at? Hey, T.
Hey, girl. Oh, I'm feeling good too. I'm feeling like a big weight has been lifted off of my shoulders, right?
It looks like it. It looks like it.
Yeah,
I know y'all
like
not, if you're watching or if you're listening, but if you're listening, it looks like it. She looks great.
I feel like a big weight has been lifted. So first of all, tippers, like let's just do a quick little test here, like a little quiz, a little pop quiz. So question number 1, you're following Tipping the Scales wherever you get your podcast. Check. Question number 2, you are listening to our episodes. So you've on this journey with Shay and I, you kind of know that there's a library content with over 100 episodes. I don't know, Shay, where are we at right now?
I don't know. We're like 160, 160
really?
something. Yeah, almost.
Wow.
We're creeping towards 200 for sure.
Oh, okay. So you definitely have been listening to us and you're part of this journey. So if you are, you know that I had to face my BHAG goal, which is, I said, my big, hairy. aggressive goal. That I was legit fearful, honestly, of getting this surgery. So if you're not aware, I had to get a partial nephrectomy. They found a small mass on my right kidney and they had to get it out. The good news is several things. Several. One, I was able to accomplish my fear. Like I was able to face my fears and accomplish my BHAG goal, which was to, I was more so very afraid of anesthesia. Never had it, was super afraid. Was supposed to do the surgery in July, didn't do it. Of course, doctors are like, you need to get this out. It's going to cause you a lot of issues. Get it out. And I got it out on Monday. So it's been a week.
Yay.
Congrats,
T.
Thank you. It's been a week. And I went for a 2-mile walk this morning. I said, nope, I'm going to move around. And then I can't do like my heavy lifting until like 6 weeks. So I'm like bummed about that. But
sit your ass down.
Okay. I'm gonna walk.
I got to be aggressive with T because she's so competitive. It's like life has to tell her to sit her ass down.
Like,
so
chill.
That's just me reminding her.
Like
to,
chill today.
Take it easy. Yeah.
Sit down, exactly. Bro. I'll get text messages like, sit your ass down. Okay. So that's the good news. Like accomplished my goal, got it out. Yeah. Then I got the best news yesterday from my doctor that
we're hearing this together.
Yeah, this is together. So I was so excited. 97% of these type of masses that they see, like I had, are malignant. They look like it. It smells like a rat. Looks like a rat. It's a rat. That's the same thing they said when they looked at my mass originally. And then I got an MRI and I looked at it a little. It appeared to what they believe to be malignant, which is the big scary word that no one wants to hear is cancer.
Yeah.
However, for a very small percentage of individuals, even though it looks like it's a malignant mass and it has all the characteristics of a malignant mass, when they put it under a microscope with a pathologist, 3% of the people is not malignant. Well, God is good, and I'm so thankful. How about your girl was part of that 3%?
Okay.
Hello? Okay. No cancer for me. So it is not a malignant tumor. It was a mass, but under the microscope with the pathologist, they were able to confirm that it's not malignant. So, amen.
That's
which means that it's
scales.
out. It's out. I don't have to worry about it again. It's done. It's over with. Go on.
That is tipping the scales at its core, right? Tipping the scales on that ass. Okay? Because F cancer.
That's right.
And I'm so happy that you are healthy, but I think that's due to you controlling the controllables, living a healthy lifestyle consistently.
Amen. Yeah, the doctor did say that has a lot to do with it.
You're vibrating high. You're doing what you can do, and you're controlling what you can control. So give it up for T. That's awesome.
Amen. Yay.
Yeah.
But
we're getting our scales back in balance a little bit.
Right.
A little in harmony.
Tip them back, Bill. Little tip. Okay. But so yesterday I go to church. Yes. Stop the haters. Yes, I do go to church. Okay. Mind your business. You got a problem, hit me up on my DM. So yesterday I'm in church and the pastors talk about how like we all have fragments.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me think about the process of fragmentation, right? So if you looked up the definition of fragmentation, it will say that it's a process or state of breaking or being broken into small or separate parts. So being broken into these little pieces, which we call fragments, right? And all of us as human beings on this earth, we have fragments, whether, and it made me think about, like, as I'm in church and we're talking about it, an analogy of, think about, a car and you're driving and you, like Shay said, you cruising, you feeling good. It's a beautiful hot day. You got the AC on there. Let's say you're in a convertible, the windows down, your hair is blowing, you're feeling good, shades on.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you hit a pothole, and then you hit that pothole and then you bust a tire. Yeah. And now you're riding on a rim. And it's like, I don't know if you ever had.
I have.
It's like, it's not pretty.
It's scary.
It's scary.
All you hear is, like, it's sparks flying. It's not
and
great.
It doesn't sound good. And the rubber is like burning against the ground. It's like smoky. You can't go that fast with it. It's like sparks flying, metal to metal. It's just not fun.
No.
But think about that analogy about life in general. That for me, like, let's use my personal example that I hope that you all, Shay and I believe in us being transparent and authentic with you. Like, that's the commitment that we have on our pod to you as our listeners, as our tippers, that we're going to give you all of us, the good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to give it all, because we know that in life, we be lifing. And when you're lifing, stuff happens, good, bad, or indifferent. But who we're not going to be is people who only come to you with the good stuff. Like when Shay got engaged, and, my little brother got on his one knee and he gave her the ring. It's on her Instagram. Check it out. It's so cute. But we're not going to just come to you about the good things. We're also going to come to you and talk about the things that don't look pretty, right? So if you take a look, think about that analogy about the car and the tires busted, now you're riding on rims. It's the same thing, like in life in general, that you come with something like me with this, when I receive with like devastating news, like, oh my God, you have cancer. We got to get the mass out. We got blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, you have to deal with it. But how do you deal with those fragments when they come across your way? How are you allowing yourself to, one, receive it? How do you process it? How do you navigate life around those fragments? So that's, I guess, let's start that off with like question number one, Shay. Like, how are you dealing with fragments in your life? Like, you lost a sister and was very open about it, and you're going through a healing process, and it's not easy. But those are little bits and pieces that are broken in us. Those are those fragments that we're talking about when we talk about fragmentation. But how do you deal with those fragments?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, I'm fragmented now. I feel good today, so I'm celebrating the small wins, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm feeling up, I'm going to use that energy for good. I'm going to shout it to the world. I'm going to exude it. I'm going to embody it, and I'm going to be proud and thankful of it. And then
you look good.
Thank you.
I saw a picture of you in all white, sitting with your hands like in namaste.
Yeah.
And you look so good.
Thank you. I was at peace there too. And so to that point, I think finding the pockets of peace and knowing that life will be fragmented, that is a consistent part of life. Things are going to happen. Tragic things are going to happen. Mistakes I'm going to make. People are going to hurt me. People are going to disappoint me. Which is why every single day, constantly doing the work to make sure that I show up for myself so that I can show up for others when necessarily, I can't do it for myself. So, letting people pour into me. That's one thing I learned in my fragmented state, is that I don't have all the answers. I can't do it all. Yes, I'm a strong woman. Yes, I've been through a lot. And yes, I've had a lot of good in my life too. So remembering those good times, remembering the times that I've been up, and remembering those deposits that I've made in other people. And when it's time for me to, be deposited, or reciprocated back, to
And
open
receive
myself
those
up and
deposits.
receive it. And so
Collect your
that's,
deposits,
yeah, that's how
right?
I've been able to kind of get through some of these broken times that I've been in, is to kind of surrender to the moment and say, God, please take it because I can't.
That's right.
And next thing you know, all these divine things keep happening and organic situations happen. Just like my yoga certification, my yoga practice. I now have a yoga practice that I
That's
fully,
awesome.
fully understand. I have a therapist that it took me to lose my sister tragically to murder, to
Yeah.
finally say, I need this, even though
Mhm.
my fiance is in that realm. And, I do count on him, but to actually take my own action and do it,
Yeah.
and get a mentor and a coach. So I have now like 4 people that are like pouring to me consistently.
That's
And
awesome.
I think it's a process.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Great.
what I
I
would say.
love that. So let's unpack that a little bit because you said a lot, but I think what you said is very meaningful. It can be very helpful towards others. That one is, you know, you have to allow yourself to receive those deposits, right? Like you got to open up your bank for deposits because guess what? Like Shay
Yeah.
said, she's making deposits all the time in others because that's just the type of person she is. Like she's giving
We
and
are.
making those
Yeah.
deposits, which means that as she's making those deposits, what do you think is happening to her? There's
It's
withdrawals
accruing.
coming out, right?
Yeah.
It's coming out. But in order to receive, you got to be ready to be a recipient. And that's not always easy
Yeah.
because oftentimes when we are in that fragmented state, we shut all things off. That it's kind of like a fight or flight where we just want to be alone. And that's okay because sometimes you got to get through it. And, whatever that fragmented state you're in, like just like anything else, when you think about those like 12 steps or whatever it is, acceptance is like step one. Like you got to accept that whatever it is that has caused you to be fragmented or that has caused you to be in that fragmented state, that you have to accept that, right? And it's not always easy because whether it be a loss of a loved one, a major health scare, a divorce, or a separation from a partner that you loved, or losing a job, whatever it is that has caused you to be in that fragmented state, like once you accept it, allow others to pour into you because it is not easy. And
It's
whatever it
not.
is, you have to be willing to allow yourself to fight. And Shay said that her first step was like, I surrender.
Yeah.
And she's surrendering to God to help her through. But how are you fighting your fight, Tippers? What are you doing? It's funny. Just look, she's my sister. I'm telling you, like, it's like, although we're like X amount of years apart, like who's counting? I ain't gonna say it. She
I
ain't
ain't
gonna say it. I ain't gonna count.
counting.
Although I'm
You
like
know?
her big sister. A lot of the things that we do, it's just mind blowing to me because we do those things like we don't even know and we do the same thing. So when the morning of my surgery, I woke up last Monday, I was shaking. My hands, my arms, I was shaking and I was counting down the time. I kept looking on the clock. Like I knew that my surgery was at 8 a.m. I had to arrive at the hospital at 6:30.
Yep.
I had to stop eating or drinking at
Yep.
5 a.m., which was 3 hours before the surgery. I had all these things like in my head. And I kept worrying, I kept obsessing, and I kept shaking. And that kind of like the last time around, which I didn't talk about, and I'm very much ready to talk about it before, because I don't know if you remember when you called, I said, I'm not ready. I can't. I don't even
I
want
do
to, I
remember.
can't
And
talk
I
about
love
it.
that. I love that because that was so honest. And that
Hmm.
let me know. But at least I
Yeah.
reached out.
But back when Shay wanted to talk, I said, Shay, I just can't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not ready to, it hurts to even talk about it because things that we experience, it just has so much of a huge, like almost like a stronghold, like a stiff, for those of you who like football, it's like a stiff arm, it's like, and that stiff arm is like against your chest
Mm-hmm.
and is holding you down. But back in July, when I was supposed to get the surgery, I prepped for it. I was ready. I got on the table. They're carrying me on the table and kind of like pushing me into the room. And I had a full-blown panic attack. And I was like, and I was panicking because I couldn't go through the surgery. So you can imagine, fast forward months now that this is like part, take two.
Mhm.
And that morning, I just kept saying, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't. I'm scared. I'm scared. I got to go.
Mhm.
And I was even that morning thinking about not going through with the surgery and just, take a pause and just take a second and pause there and think about the magnitude of my decision at the time where one, I was told that, hey, this is cancer. You need
Mhm.
to get this out.
Mhm.
And despite what I believed to know at the time, I was still ready to walk away and not go because that fear was so strong that it was leading and guiding me to run. And I got on my knees and I prayed and I used Shay's exact words that I said, Lord, I surrender. I
Mm.
don't know what else to do. I
Mm.
surrender because I need your help.
Right.
I need your strength to overcome this because I am impossible of doing this alone by myself. I can't. And I prayed, and that's when it began that things change and I end up going, was able to get it done.
Mhm.
But you have to know that, look, there's going to be some fragments in your life that seem like it's impossible for you to overcome. It will feel like this is something that is going to consume you and it's going to take over. But I think what I'm here to say and what Shay's here to say is to be true testaments that this is something that you can face.
Mhm.
And fragments are a part of life that you can't escape them. You can't run from them. You can't pretend like they're not there. You have to accept that they're there, but be willing to surrender, be willing to fight, and be willing to receive and accept to be poured into to help give you the strength to overcome whatever it is that your fragment is that you're experiencing at this period of time.
Mhm. It's very important to also
Yeah.
not put on a front, not to put on a
Be
mask,
honest.
not
Be honest.
to smile when you don't feel like smiling,
Mhm.
just not to act like you're okay. And that's one thing
Mhm.
that I've been adamant about is if people ask me how I am, I do fill out the energy. Obviously, I don't want to unload on anyone who can't take any more bad information. I do fill out
Yeah.
those energies, but or I give, information that's just like, "I'm getting there," or "I'm better," and being honest about where I am instead of
Yeah.
doing the, like, passive, like, "I'm good, I'm fine, I'm" all that,
When you
because
know you're not.
that's not that's not true. It's not real, and so I do try to pride myself on being authentic, and so, that has helped me a lot too because it opens the door for people to invite themselves and say, "Shay, let me help you out," and even just come over, hang out, or send me something, or and I think that's super important. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
it's super important. And another thing too, Shay, is that I'm curious to ask you is how do you not allow those fragments to define you?
Mm.
How do you do that? Like how do you look at the
Mhm.
situation but yet not allow it to put baby in a corner or allow it to keep you, because you can look, we all have these fragments and we could be in this kind of fragmented state that Shay talked about. But at the same time, you could still not let it define you and keep going. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah. Well, I would say not necessarily defining me because it's changing me. Every situation
Mm,
you go through changes you.
yeah.
And so in a way that's defining you, but it's not holding you down or keeping you back or keeping you from progressing. It's kind of like if you know that life is going to always throw you these curveballs, and these situations that cause you to, break into fragmented pieces that are different
Hmm.
um, parts of you, just knowing that once you experience that,
Mm,
this is an opportunity to use that negative terrible energy, which is if used in a way, it can drive you forward. It could be repurposed um, and refueled to really propel you to a place maybe you've always wanted to go. Because there's a lot of things we all want to do in the back of our mind, things we put off. But in these fragmented moments are the times when you start to think about, okay, how can I get out of this? How can I
Mm-hmm.
transform? And I think that the important thing to know is that once this happens to you, just know that you're different and try not to go back to being the old you or the old
Mm-hmm.
T or the old Shay.
Mm-hmm. And it's
It's that
okay.
it's okay. We're constantly evolving, and to lean into where you're at and let it take you to that next level. So not necessarily a negatively defining you, but just remember that this too shall pass,
Mm-hmm.
and you needed to do or experience those things in order to get to the next phase of your human
Absolutely.
development.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. And I think too is, what I'm hearing you say, what I'm hearing you say, Shay, is that look, yes, you're different. Accept that. Like, it's
Mhm.
okay. Like,
Mhm.
don't try to go back to where you think you should be
Yeah.
before this fragment happened or before this piece or before a part of you uh, felt broken. Like, that's just part of your journey now.
Yeah. It's part of your
Like
journey.
I went through this, I'll continue on using my example that I went through this surgery. I got a scar. I look in the mirror and it's not a huge scar because they did it robotically. I mean, it's crazy what technology is
It
that
is.
they literally, when you
And
put
what
it
a
into
blessing.
perspective, they came in, put a slit under my lower abdomen, went in robotics, came in, and the robot did the surgery. Exactly.
You know?
And glued it back together. I don't even have stitches. It's glued back together. But
Yeah.
when I look in the mirror, I look at it and you know what? I say, this is part of me. This is like my little war scar. Like, this is just part of who I am. And
Learn to tell your story. And
yep.
it's empowering for other people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you know what? It makes me feel like I'm stronger.
Yeah.
Like it reminds me, it reminded
Yes.
me
It's
that
a
I can do hard
yes.
things.
Yes.
That I can do hard things.
Yes, it's
And
an accountability. That's what
yes.
I also have
Mm-hmm.
experienced. I have
Mm-hmm.
accountability. I can it's
Mm-hmm.
tangible now.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm
that's right.
capable.
Mhm.
Like before, think about this fearful person who had a panic attack on the table and ran away and
Mhm.
could that now I'm strong enough to even talk about it. Because before I was so embarrassed that I didn't want to I just wanted to tell a select few. I didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
And now I am strong enough to tell my story because perhaps my story can empower someone else. It may not be a surgery that is what you're dealing with that's holding you down. It could be something else that you just are afraid to deal with. And,
Right.
I feel good that I dealt with it. And, I just feel like I looked in the mirror this morning and I was just being so thankful. I said, thankful. And I was looking at my scar. I said, you know what? You did that.
You did.
Like this was something that you were so scared to do and you did it. And Tania, this is just a continuation is that you can do hard things, that
Mhm.
when things come your way, you can fight them, you can
Mhm.
overcome, you can push past, you can know that this is just part of your journey, but you're stronger for it and you're
Mhm.
better for it.
Mhm. And lean into that evolution. Like you couldn't
Mm,
get to where you really want to be without doing that. And
mm,
now you're, back at, square one, and now you can
mm.
rebuild in a way that you've always wanted to, do all those hikes and just do more. You're going to be
Girl,
mentally
you know
so
your
much more
girl.
free. Like this is what's been holding you back. Like you've been
Yes.
going, you've been kind of like,
Yeah.
showing up, but you haven't been 100%. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And you're not going to you're not going to live your best life not giving 100%.
That's
So
right.
now you can just like take a load off, literally, no pun intended,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
really, really evolve into what you want to do and live that healthy lifestyle. And
Yeah.
now this is a part of your story,
This is part of my story.
which is only
That
makes it even better. Like it's just
right?
crazy.
And it made me feel like it just reminded me too that now you can lock in. It makes me like it's so funny. You just know me. Like,
I
oh,
know.
you complete me. It just reminded me
Man.
that, it's funny that you mentioned that because you know darn well I'm like, oh. this is going to be I'm going to be a better version of me this time around
Yeah,
than
you
what I
got
was
BHAG
before.
goals. So it's like you can't
Yeah.
conquer BHAG goals on 70%. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? Like you need
That's
all of
right.
you and mainly your mental. So if you over here worrying
Yeah.
about some surgery,
Yeah.
you know, you're
It's
faking
too
it.
much.
You know what I mean? You over here just like putting on. So
And you know what? I'm glad that you went there, because another component that we should probably explore before we end today is, what are you doing to deal with the stress during your fragmented state? Like, once you accepted it, you're like, okay, I could do this. I'm ready. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna, plunge. I'm gonna jump right in, and I'm going to face whatever it is that I have to. And you are allowing others to pour into you. And you are on this journey, and you're riding in a car to get to your destination with the flat tires, with the rims sparking. You're like, I'm gonna get there. But
right.
during that process, how are you dealing with the stress? What are you doing to manage it, right? And
Yeah.
for me, and I think, and Shay, we found yoga to help
Ooh.
us with all of the fragments that are like weighing in on us, right? It's through through meditation,
Meditate.
through breath work.
Ooh.
So it's like a mind, body, spirit that helps us deal with those fragments in our lives. But
Amen.
I ask you, Tippers, like, what are you doing to counterbalance the stress? Like, what are you doing to help keep the car going when there's smoke coming from
Good, T. Keep
the
going.
rims? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Right? What else
Right.
are you doing, Shay, beside? I know the yoga has been like mind
Yeah.
like just crazy for you.
Yeah. I will expound on that. I think the two things that I really understood is no matter what you believe in, you know, what religion, whatever, having some kind of spiritual guide to give you a deeper meaning in life.
And life in itself. Yeah.
So to understand what we're here for and understanding what happens, whether you believe in the afterlife or whatever happens when you go wherever you go, understanding those two nuances, it really helps to keep the mind at bay from spinning out of control. Knowing that my sister is where she needs to be.
Yeah.
Knowing that her family is not going to let her legacy, fade away, and that we're going to pour into her son, and that we're going to make sure that she's remembered and speak her and do all those things, which I couldn't, come to grips with during, but I understand now, which helps me to kind of, I guess, be proud and be excited about it. And then myself. What are my releases? Finding a release that feels good for you is so necessary. So a spiritual connection, however that is, or whatever that it means to you, and then a way to get back to yourself, which is a release. It used to be basketball. I realized that I didn't have basketball anymore because I wasn't an active athlete. So yoga and understanding why I was doing yoga helped me to get back to myself, movement,
Connecting
sweating,
that mind, body, breath.
not for fitness, but moving the things that I store in my body through stress
and
through all that, and removing it outwards through the breath work, through the movement, change my life.
Yeah, change your life. And I think that's what we have to learn to do, right? It's like, it's funny because one of the Peloton instructors, I think, is Alex Toussaint, who is hilarious.
And
He's
you talked
good,
about him
and
before.
I like Alex, and I take his like cycling classes, and right before he starts his cycling class, he says, like, inhale all the,
and then
and exhale the BS.
Yeah, that's what he said. Inhale joy.
Yep.
Exhale like frustration or whatever it is. And it's like,
worries,
yes.
Things that are holding you back,
Yeah.
stressors. It's like, inhale joy, inhale life, inhale peace, inhale kindness, inhale love, and then exhale all the things that are worrying you, the stress and everything else that come with it. So look, Tippers, like, let's keep life in together, but let's understand that, yes, it's okay to be broken. It's okay to have fragments. That's part of life. As long as you are not allowing those fragments to define who you are, you're understanding that this is a new you, and be okay with it and keep it moving.
And I also just want to recognize, talking about fragments and all that, is I just want to send my love and prayers out to the people of Israel and the people of Palestine.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that are going on that we don't understand, but we do understand human life.
Capable.
We're not capable of understanding, but
yeah,
we do understand human life, and any loss of human life is,
impactful.
A very, very tragic and impactful situation. So just wanted to send prayers out to everyone going
send
through
prayers,
all of that.
send in love,
Yep.
and those who may be impacted, because sometimes you don't have to be there to be impacted in a certain way. You can have loved ones. You can, you can just be someone who is a supporter, someone that is an advocate.
Yep.
So whoever you are, we're sending love and peace
to all
and
my
hope
friends,
your way.
I love you guys, and I'm just wishing for the best outcome. So
okay, sending you love, and make sure you keep on going. We hope that we can be an inspiration for you. We hope that we can keep growing and learning as we life. As we're lifing.
That's the best way to say it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Please continue to follow Tipping the Scales wherever you get your podcasts. We will see you again soon. Bye.